very last show of the Journal this season. It's going to be a good one for you today.
So stick around, but first, let's check out some of the highlights of this past semester.
Check it out.
Comilang.
And I'm Brennan Hehn.
I'm Gavin Sang.
And I'm Mckaila Richards.
I'm your host, Kadie Balfour.
And I'm Annabelle Fischer.
Welcome to another exciting episode of The Journal. I'm Gerard.
And I'm Michelle.
I'm your host, Colin Artunian.
And I'm Keisha Smith.
I'm Carl Pink.
And I am Mona Abbassi.
I am your host, Tristan Clark.
And I'm your host, Mauricio Rujo.
And we're coming to you live from the Centennial College studio in Toronto.
Yeah.
T-Dot.
What's up, Cricket?
What's good?
Chilling, know me.
About to set the studio on fire with this song.
Shout out to Toronto. Let's go.
Let's go.
T-Dot. What's good?
What's good? What's good? What's good? To your block, from our hood to your hood. What's good? What's good? What's good?
Afternoon, Centennial College Journal watchers. On today's show, we have stories from traveling the world on a Metro Pass to folding your body into positions you never thought possible. I'm your host, Jessica Comilang.
And I'm Nigel Mendoza. Our first story starts out right here at home at Centennial College, where our very own Carl Pink attended the Fast Forward event last Saturday.
What happened at the Fast Forward event, you may ask? Well, it was a day of talking, workshops, and exhibits. Cassie Steele from Degrassi, The Next Generation, was a guest speaker at Fast Forward. Carl Pink got an interview with his young actress, who many youngsters know as Manny, from Degrassi.
Let's take a look at Carl's story.
For those of you who missed it, Centennial College hosted its second annual Fast Forward event, featuring workshops, tutorials, and a celebrity panel. A unique episode of The Journal was captured with special guest Cassie Steele from Degrassi. But first, let's hear from the Dean.
It's about outreach to the community, and I think the outreach today was very successful. Paul really brought these speakers in and helped organize some of the other workshops.
I came today as a spectator in terms of partaking in the day's events and festivities, workshops, panel speaking, and whatnot. I also wear another hat, which is that I'm an alumni of the program here at Centennial College. I received a scholarship and graduated from the Self-Employment Business Entrepreneurship Program. I definitely did have fun today, and it was informal and educational. I went to the speakers panel, and I love to hear the different takes that people were coming to the table from and their experience. I most certainly am looking forward to the next one. I'm quite excited, actually, and I was speaking with Paul earlier, just saying that I really loved the day.
We had spectators come in and watch as we put on a live broadcasting of The Journal. We were lucky enough to have a special guest performance by Cassie Steele and her new band, Caramel. I'm lucky enough to be here with Cassie Steele from Degrassi, The Next Generation. On your site, you're talking about being a karaoke geek. Want to explain that a little bit?
Yes. Well, I mean, exactly what it says. I did karaoke from, the time that I was 3 on with my family. My whole family was into it. I guess from there I started realizing that I liked singing and took a bunch of classes and then, started writing. Then eventually started doing like alternative rock, pop, and stuff like that, and blues music. And then recently, like this last month, I joined a pop band, which is really, really different from what I've done my entire life. So it was just like a quick, fast change. And It's actually my best friend's band. I've known for quite some time, and they needed a replacement for somebody because they've got this awesome Factor grant. I kind of just got thrown in here, and it's just really different and exciting, and it's like really, really high energy, dancing on stage, really, really girly, everything kind of not doing. And now that I'm doing it, it was just, I don't know, I think it's the best decision I ever made. I'm really enjoying myself. The name of the group is Caramel, and you can become a Facebook friend or find us on MySpace, and it's Caramel with a K. It's me and my best friend, and, you know, some quirky Boomtang Boys meets 303 really awesome dance music that makes you just feel great.
Now, for those who are in the know, you are currently a character on Degrassi, The Next Generation.
Yes.
Tell the folks at home about Manny Santos.
Well, Manny Santos is one of the original characters of Next Generation, and she's bubbly, passionate. It's really, really hard to describe, I think, a character when it's been on TV for that long. Yeah. She's gone through so much and been through so many phases. Yeah, you should tune in. And now I think the new characters, because this is the first year I'm actually off it, the new characters are a lot younger. It's become a lot younger show again, which is awesome, because the reason why I think The Next Generation got so popular was your fans grow with you. You know, it's airing on Much Music, and I think there's 48 episodes this year, so it's going to be really great, and you should check it out. Epitome Pictures, who produced Degrassi, was helping out UNICEF, and we were asked if we could do like something for them, and I decided to write a song, and then now it's being used, and it's great. You know, I really enjoyed writing it, and I'm just glad that, you know, the message was sent out there.
All right, now some fun stuff. Potatoes. Talk to us about potatoes.
Potatoes. Oh my gosh, I was just about to say potatoes in every shape and form. Scalloped potatoes, mashed potatoes, french fries, chips, like potato skins, wedges. I can go on and on, yeah. Like, I really like potatoes. It's like the ultimate comfort food.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Cassie Steele, everyone.
Hi.
That's it for part 1, but don't you dare get out of your seat. I've got Chris Reyes coming up on part 2, so stay tuned. Don't you wish you were me?
Sugar, I forgot my boyfriend existed when I was looking at you. Sugar, sugar, you were looking at me. You forgot your girlfriend too. Do you see me staring at you? All I wanna do is freak.
This looks like a 4-year-old did it.
Think you could do better? Come study fine arts at the Center for Creative Communications.
Oh man, I just love Cassie Steele's character. Jess, did you know that the original Degrassi was filmed right here at Centennial College?
No, actually I did not. That's pretty neat. But did you know that Toronto had a salsa festival?
I did actually. Jessica, you were just telling me about it the other day, didn't you? Didn't you go to the dance festival and report about it?
Yes, I did. Good to know you were listening, Nigel. The Salsa Dance Festival was a lot of fun. There were performances, workshops, competitions, and events going on throughout the whole festival. Artists like Liz Lira, Ellie Torres, and Yen Dorado were there showing off their moves.
Maybe we should enter a dance competition? What do you say, Jess?
Well, you and I better start practicing now, Nigel. Watch this story, Nigel, and attempt to learn some great salsa. Taking place at the historic Palais Royal Ballroom in downtown Toronto from March 11 to the 14th, the 11th annual Toronto Salsa Festival took place. Said to be the most anticipated salsa event in Canada, this event was celebrated for only 3 days and 4 nights. A long weekend featuring internationally renowned salsa performers, instructors, and DJs. This means salsa lessons, salsa cocktails, performances, and shows. Solo competitions, workshops, and pro and semi-pro performances. Everything salsa in just a short weekend. This beautiful empty ballroom will be a center stage for many performances and competitions held on this exciting weekend. Here are a few sneak peeks on some of the great salsa performances. The Toronto Salsa Festival heavily depends on their volunteers to have a successful event. Without the dedication and preparation from some of these volunteers, events like the Toronto Salsa Festival would never have existed.
I'm actually the host, and I volunteer here. I have Maya and Gary, who's the organizer, because I like, actually the salsa people are very friendly. That's first. Second is just to make sure every single person is welcome, and basically that. I love to talk with people, and it's pretty much that.
A salsa festival would not be complete without a little competition. Here, amateur couples from all over Canada were welcome to compete.
From Montreal, and we're dancing for Sati Mambo Factory. We are glad to be there in Toronto for the Salsa Festival. It's a great competition. We came for amateur competition, and the level is very, very high, and we are so happy. It's very challenging, and we're waiting for the result, but everybody did great, and Toronto is very welcome.
My sister and brother, and I'm 11 years old.
And I'm 9 years old.
We come from Latin Energy Dance Team, and we came down here to compete, and on Sunday we'll be performing, and we hope everybody has a great time.
Prizes included for this competition were 2 round trips to San Diego Salsa Congress in California, passes to the LA Salsa Congress, a pair of Ballo dance shoes, and a trophy. Announcements for the winners occur after some social dancing. In third place from Latin Energy Dance Team, Jenilyn and Raymond. In second place from Latin Group Productions, Haley and Kevin. And first place is Bria and Sergio, also from Latin Group Productions. The Toronto Salsa Festival is one of the best events that many Torontonians can enjoy. Even if you are not into salsa or just have 2 left feet, the Salsa Festival has something for everyone, and that's a proven fact.
Look at me go, Jess. I'm doing salsa.
Nigel, I think we have a long way to go before we enter any salsa competition.
Okay, well maybe we won't be that great just yet, but with some practice, I think we could get there. But even if I don't end up on So You Think You Can Dance, it's still a fun hobby. So for anyone out there looking to try something new and take up a new hobby, salsa dancing is a great first step. You can burn up to 528 calories just from doing dances like salsa, the mambo, and the cha-cha-cha.
It's a fun and great workout, for sure. Because this is our last show of the season, it got me thinking of all the great performances we had on the journal. But, I just can't seem to figure out who's the best. So, do you remember Laugh Happy? And there was Rob Giancola. There was also, I think, Matt Silver.
Okay, yeah, well, don't forget DJ Shaft. He was big. Cricket Man. There was Joe Ianni. They were all great in my books, but who would you vote for as your favorite? Here's Michelle Tierney and Gerard with all the details.
Hi, I'm Michelle Tierney.
And I'm Gerard, and we're your web correspondents.
Well,
Throughout all the Journal shows, we've had a lot of really great performances, but today it's your opportunity to cast your vote on which performance you thought was the best. So let's take a look. Laugh Happy for show 1.
This is so, it's no hope. This is wrong.
There was Matt Silver in show 2.
This life burns bright. We have unfinished business. So not.
We had our own Rob Giancola in show 3. In show 4.
I was walking my faces far on this land. I met a man at the crossroads with a dime in his hand. He told me he was rich. How was I supposed to believe anything that this man said? Man, too much ice and you better hope they just
Cricket Man in show 5.
ain't nobody play fair. Yeah, they call it Regent Park, but ain't nobody play there. Glendower, Melvin, Lakeshore, Section 6. Rep your hood no matter where it is.
And then I still had $2 left over. I'm like, man, I'm kind of hungry. I'm going to get myself a hot dog.
And
Afterwards,
Joe
I'm gonna go down myself a
Ianni in
hot
show
dog.
6.
Delicious. So there I am with my nunchucks and my hot dog. I'm like, man, I'm sorry, prom, but you did not deliver on all the expectations I had. This is now officially the best day of my life. It is.
So you can cast your votes at
The Journal Live on Twitter, guys. And for those of you that are new, we have shout-outs. So what you do, send them to twitter.com/thejournallive, and we shout them out on air. For example, Nigelino's already chimed in with first off, I've got to say Laugh Happy's for my vote, and I'm loving the pink theme this week, guys. Too bad one person messed up. P.
Hey, at least I'm not wearing another sweater vest.
That's all I got in my closet. Anyways, back to you guys in the studio.
While you're on Twitter, remember to send out your shoutouts to GE at twitter.com/thejournallive. That's twitter.com/thejournallive. You wouldn't want to miss out a chance on fame. So Toronto is a great multicultural city and has so much to offer with neighborhoods that reflect the dynamics and diversity of the world. Producer Keisha Smith took a trip around Toronto and was able to visit 3 different countries right here in our city. Let's see where she ended up.
It's nice to go to different areas of Toronto and try the flavors, the spices, learn about the culture.
Little India in Toronto is very unique.
The Danforth offers a great selection for family. You can basically make a whole afternoon of it.
Summer is quickly approaching, and wouldn't it be nice to hop on a jet plane and travel to any destination your heart desires? Unfortunately, we can't all have this luxury, which makes living in Toronto so special. Toronto is full of culture. It's practically on your doorstep. We have streets that are dedicated to different cultures. Follow me while I travel the world on a Metro Pass. I went to Spadina Station and hopped on the 510 streetcar, which took me right into the middle of Chinatown.
Chinatown in Toronto gives you a flavor of the variety, different foods, the culture.
The average person has to offer, let's say, food. They're reasonably priced. You have different variety of food, and also grocery shopping.
These are all the tropical fruits that you can find in Chinatown, and it's really close trip on the streetcar. You've got your coconuts here and papayas, mangoes, fruits like apples, anything you want to try, just come on down here.
These are soursop. They're sweet. Inside it's white, and there's like seeds inside.
I think there's this good representation. I mean, I've never been to China, Asia. From what I see on TV, it's pretty similar, but I find it's probably more, or it would be more congested in China. I see a lot of people riding bikes and people pushing each other. It's pretty similar here.
It was time to leave Chinatown and head over to Little India, which took no time at all.
If you come to Gerard Street in Toronto, you get everything what you can shop in India or in Sri Lanka or in Bangladesh, because all these stores cater to the needs of entire South Asian community in Toronto.
I headed over to a local sari shop and asked one of the workers what they thought of Little India.
Nice clothes to see, so many restaurants, South Indian restaurants, North Indian restaurants, Muslim restaurants, and many things to eat.
We celebrate Eid, is a Muslim festival. We also celebrate Diwali, is a Hindu festival. We also celebrate Baisakhi, is a Sikh festival.
All you need is a top like this one, which they make according to your size. You get it. Some sarees, they come with the ready-made blouses, but still you have to adjust because we are all different in sizes, And then you need underskirts, and then you need a sari. 3 things.
Little India was a lot of fun, but it was time to hit the Danforth. Chester Station is located in the heart of Greytown, so it makes for a great starting point.
The Danforth can offer a lot to the average person. It can offer a lot of good restaurants, which means you can go with your friends or family, enjoy yourself, try the cuisine, try the food, try the whole new experience, the music, the dancing. There's also a lot of Greek shops here with some European-style clothing focused on the Mediterranean and Greece. There's a lot of places where they got little monuments of Alexander and all these other statues which show a great relevance of history. Well, more or less with Danforth, as in comparison to Greece, I find the community and people give more of a rub-off than it would be as in the actual streets itself. I feel that people bring their own culture and family from Greece and they bring it here, such as, for example, the old men having coffee sitting around all day with their cigarettes and coffee talking. That's usually what happens in the afternoon. We're on Danforth here, eating a nice restaurant called Kalivia, and we ordered a nice traditional dinner, which would include some rice, potatoes, and chicken souvlaki with some tzatziki, which is very refreshing with the meat. Kalivia is a town in Greece, and one of the owners is from here, and that's how we got the name. And traditional Greek dinner.
There you have it, 1 city, 3 countries. Who said you need a plane to be a world traveler? Just hop onto Toronto's TTC and it can take you around the world. But remember, don't forget your Metro Pass.
There's a lot to do in Toronto. Sometimes we don't realize how lucky we are to live in so many different cultures right around us. And it's even nicer that all of these areas in Toronto are accessible by the public transit. Another great thing to try in Toronto is the nightlife, if you are of age, of course. Colin Artinian checked out the Tape Deck Bros. This dubstep group has been lighting up the night with their sound. Let's take a look.
When the dead come to life, they will dance.
Two different people won't exactly have the same tastes and everything, and we both come with sort of different skill sets. I sort of focused more on like production and learning sound engineering and stuff like that, whereas Chris was the first person to learn sort of how to spin live and DJ and stuff, so he took that part and I took the production side, but now we've kind of fused the two together. Music is probably the only career I think either of us could imagine doing. Obviously with gimmicks and stuff like the box heads and shit we have, we're obviously into getting a crowd pumped up. I mean, the Faces idea originally came from what was supposed to have looked like a cassette tape, and then it just kind of got morphed into like a robot face.
If you're not going to a show to see us and you happen to see a set by us, it's a little visual cue, something that'll stick in your mind the next day. We tend to do like a tag team kind of thing, and I'll go for like a half hour and he'll go for a half hour, or like little shorter intervals. But really, there's definitely been times where Ash has come up and like, oh, you should definitely play this song next. And I'll go and I'll listen to it and I'll be like, yeah, definitely, good choice.
Because you're matching, you're matching keys and not just beats per minute and like, you know, feelings for songs. Sometimes you'll just like suddenly get an idea and just be like, yo, drop this. And the touring we have done has been really fun, and we're looking forward to a lot more in the summer. So I mean, like, we're just taking everything as it comes. We didn't expect to get to the point where we are so quickly, so every step that we take is like new, and 90% of the time we have no idea what's going to happen until right before it does. So I know, end result, I would love to be successful as a musician, and the entire journey so far has been so cool that at any point I would be satisfied.
Every Wednesday we do a radio show, and it's scheduled 8 till 11.
8 to 11 technically.
But like, we kind of like have got some of our friends that don't DJ and have nothing to do with electronic music and don't really like go to clubs or whatnot. We give them an opportunity to kind of put on their own show after ours.
Yeah. If you're a silly nerd that doesn't like going out, you can still party with us on the internet. We'll never be good enough, but we'll never stop getting better. It's pretty much the attitude I feel like you have to have if you want to succeed in this business. There's never a point where you can get comfortable or rest or think that you're good enough. Everyone around you that's serious about their job is constantly improving, and you have to be the same.
For the rest of the summer, the Tape Deck Bros are going to be playing every Monday at the Social. It's definitely a gig to get out and see, and it only costs $2 to get in. Let's check in now on Michelle and Gerard on the Twitterverse.
Hey, so we got a couple tweets in so far. First one's from Vixen66. Hey, just got a new webcam. Not gonna read the rest of that one on air. Brennan Hehn says, can't wait to see Jeff the World. Jeff the World replied with, can't wait to see Brennan. Just for you guys that don't know, Jeff the World will be our special performance later on today. And speaking of performances, what's the score for Performance of the Year?
The score, or the tallied votes at this point, are at a deadlock for first between Keaton Evans and Laugh Happy. So keep those votes coming in, and hopefully we can break that.
Yep, and it's the Journal Live at Twitter.
Tweet, tweet, tweet.
Before I introduce our next guest, I just want to give a little backstory. For those of you that missed last week or saw it, Kadie Balfour and Annabelle Fischer learned how to break dance with one of the break dancers from last week. And now Kadie's directing this week's show, and I think this is her way of getting back at us. She has Jennifer Pullon teaching us today how to dance, and how many steps?
Go to 2 counts of 8.
2 counts of 8, so that's like...
It's only 16 counts.
16 moves, wow.
I'm ready. Let's
ready,
do it.
Jess.
So before we get into the dancing, what type of dancing are we gonna be doing today?
We're going to be doing jazz with a slight hip hop style on it, so it's nice and easy. Don't worry about it.
Sounds intimidating.
Sounds intense, guys.
Yeah.
You ready to go? Okay. Really nice and simple.
Okay.
Remember to keep your knees bent, keep the weight down low for the whole thing. You ready? So
Okay.
starting with the right hand, you're going to keep your hands on your hips here. You're going to reach across and 1, and do it again with the other hand and 2.
And that, okay.
Yep, got it.
That's pretty
6,
simple.
7, 8, and 1 and 2. You're going to make a diagonal, nice and quick. Make a diagonal, taking your arms up. Your hand's going to go down.
Diagonal, so okay.
So it's like that's and 1 and 2. That's and on count of 3, bring it in. There you go. Good job. So you've had and 1 and 2 and 3. On and 4, you're going to do your head. Just going to move and 4. Try and keep your whole body still. Just move your head. There you go. And 4 and 5. You're going to step forward. Bring your hands back to your hips, shoulders. And 6. Right one
and
first.
6.
There
Okay.
you go. And 6. Step 7. You're going to be like you've been hitting the chest. Step back 7.
Ooh.
Do a full turn. On 8.
Let's turn.
Like a little move
That's
thing
just
that-
microphone.
Okay, I
work.
thought you were trying to go all fancy.
If you want to go fancy, you can do whatever you want. Okay, let's do it again. 6,
from the-
7, 8, and 1, and 2, and in, and head, step, shoulder, shoulder,
Oh.
drag, turn.
Turning.
Good
Okay.
job. Yeah,
I
that
missed
was
the
a
turn.
good
It's
turn.
okay.
Good job. You ready to do the
Okay.
next bit? Or you want to do that again?
There's more.
Okay.
There is
Okay.
more.
Let's
Only a
do
little
I
bit
thought that
more.
was it. I was like, oh my gosh, I
No,
got
no,
I
there's
did it.
more. Don't
It's
worry.
gonna be easier.
Yeah.
It's easier now. So you're going to jump out,
Making a
taking your
slide
legs apart, and you're going to whip, whip, whip,
Whip, whip.
whip, whip. Girls can add a little hip in. You can do a hip as well if you want.
How about like,
Use
Yeah,
your
yeah,
hips.
do
Come
that,
on.
do
We
that.
saw
I
that
don't wanna,
salsa
like-
dancing.
There you
It's
go.
on the
Go on.
hips.
Whip, whip. You're going to do a body roll.
body roll?
Lady's going to go down the body.
Gonna like
Just go beef it up. There you go. So you go whip, whip, round the body. You're going to do like a
Whip,
funky chicken
Whip,
step.
whip, round the body.
There you go. You're going to
step.
go
I like chicken.
pump, pump, like a chicken.
Pump.
kind of feminine.
You
Can I
can
just
man
like
it
go
up.
like
There you
that
go. That's
kind
good.
of- Okay.
You're going to go pump,
I
pump
like that
again
better.
like you've been hitting the chest. You're going to step back. You're going to look at the back. And then you look forward and give them some attitude.
Some attitude.
You're watching the journal.
The journal.
Should we try it from the beginning?
Live.
From the top.
Have we got it? This is going to be the whole thing from the beginning.
All right.
Oh god.
You ready?
We'll try.
Okay,
Let's
we'll
try,
see.
Nigel.
6, 7, 8, and 1, and 2, up, in, and head, step, shoulder, shoulder,
Oh, I keep
back,
forgetting.
turn around,
Turning.
whip,
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 pump, pump,
down the
body
body,
roll,
pump,
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 pump.
Yeah.
Then hit, step.
Attitude.
And we look.
Attitude.
That's
Good
it,
job, guys.
That was it.
You feeling it?
I'm getting a little lightheaded here. Okay.
That was
So,
fun. That was really fun.
That was
While
good,
we,
guys.
yeah, that was really fun. Thanks a lot, Jennifer. But
Thank
while we keep
you.
learning how to dance, check out Taylor Sullivan's story on longboarding.
Today we are at the Ashbridges Bay skate park where we meet up with Brennan, Hehn, and Fraser Wilson and talk about longboarding.
I'm Brennan Hehn. I've been skateboarding for maybe 5 years. I've been longboarding for maybe 5 weeks, and it's really fun. Well, when I first started skating, I enjoyed it, but I couldn't really do any tricks, and I used it mainly just for getting around, and I found it was kind of difficult. And then my board snapped in half, so I was kind of like looking to buy a new one. And a few summers ago, I tried surfing, and I really enjoyed that. That was really fun. And I heard longboarding is a lot like surfing. The way you move on the board, you can get low, and the way you turn, it feels a lot like surfing. So I thought I'd opt out and go for the longboard this time.
Brennan mostly uses his longboard for traveling, from getting to the station to going to school.
All right, this is my longboard, made by a company called Land Yachts, and the board is called the Chief. It's actually a Canadian company. They make them out in Vancouver. It's 40 inches long, which is a lot bigger than a normal skateboard. I got bare trucks on here. They're really flexible, so you can do really hard, smooth turns. I got Hogs wheels. They're 76 millimeters wide, which is, again, bigger than skateboard wheels. But it's great for city travel because you just ride over everything. You don't even feel the sidewalk. The downside is you can't really do much tricks. You can't really ollie on this board. It's not a trick board, it's more of a travel board. And just kind of cruising around. You can do a couple of surf tricks like carving and hanging 10 on the front. That's really fun.
Fraser has been skateboarding for 11 years. He shows off tricks that you can do on a regular skateboard compared to a longboard.
After work, get on the skateboard, just push around for an hour or so, but I also use it for transportation, but I don't know, the streets around here are pretty gravelly and it's not the best for transportation, but it gets you around. Oh yeah, I've definitely seen like a huge resurgence of longboarding. Like, I mean, even 5 years ago, you almost never saw longboarders, and these days you see them all over the place. So yeah, I've definitely noticed a lot more longboarders these days. I've thought about it and I figured I'll switch over to longboarding when I'm too broken, battered, and scarred to do this anymore.
So you may not be able to do tricks on a skateboard, but love to cruise, then maybe you should try the longboard instead.
Longboarding looks like a lot of fun. I like the way the boards, have those funky designs on the bottom and the back of them, sorry. So if you want to take up longboarding, head over to Queen Anne University, where you can find the store So Hip It Hurts. They don't only supply longboards, but also skateboards, snowboards, and other accessories.
You know what else I wanted to try? I always want to try yoga. It seems so calming and stress-free. Originally a form of virtual discipline, today there are only so many different kinds of yoga schools. Anyone can enjoy it. Follow Brennan Hehn while he follows yoga enthusiasts.
Home to 5.5 million people, Toronto is one of the busiest cities in the world, and living here can be more than stressful. But there's a place at Yonge and Lawrence where you can learn to dissipate your stress and live at peace. It's called the Ashtanga Yoga Center of Toronto. I recently visited the AYCT and talked to head instructor and co-owner Dave Robson about the way of yoga.
My name's David Robson, and I guess I'm the head teacher and a co-owner of this yoga studio, Ashtanga Yoga Center of Toronto. I've been doing yoga about 13 years and Ashtanga for about 10.
Ashtanga is a yoga system that focuses on posture correction and the flowing between static yoga positions. As you can see, the room gets very hot and sweaty.
When I was younger, I had a bunch of experiences that made me think that there was a lot more to consciousness than sort of I was experiencing daily. The problem is nothing would make it last. It would never stay, these peak states of consciousness. But while I was searching, I found yoga. And the idea is you do these little baby steps and you slowly grow yourself towards sort of maintaining and holding that state of mind. So that's why I became interested in it. I became really convinced that even if we don't become enlightened, we become better people. That's pretty valuable.
My name is Jody Shapiro. I do yoga. I started out yoga just for the physical. I wanted to be strong, I wanted to be flexible, I wanted to be lean, and it just turned into a more spiritual practice where what I learn with my breath and what I learn with having to get through this vigorous practice, I feel like it brings calmness to the rest of my life and to the rest of my day.
Yeah, it's a lifestyle. It's sort of a science of enlightenment, but it's progressive steps towards it. So you have to start by eating well, being nice to people, being really careful about where you put your energy. And so that sort of makes your life clean. Yeah, so that's a lifestyle.
Definitely, I'm a chiropractor in my sort of other life, and I feel like I can bring a certain extra element to my patients by introducing them to yoga and by bringing calmness and empathy to them through the yoga.
Like they feel the transformational power of it. They feel like what happens. If you practice it in the morning, it's like you set yourself on your course for your day. I think that's why people come, in a way. They're seeking change, right? It's very transformational. It's very extreme. The energy in there, the heat, and the pressure. So heat and pressure and time turn coals into diamonds, right?
Yoga is a great way to find inner peace and alleviate your stress. If you want more information or you would like to check out session times, you can visit the AYCT's website at www.ashtangatoronto.com. That's it for now. Until next time, namaste.
If yoga is not your forte, head over to Good Life Fitness and sign up for a personal trainer. Our Michelle Tierney interviews trainers who whips butts into shape. Let's check it out.
Health is something that most people regard as an important part of their life. However, how they incorporate health into their lifestyle is an issue all on its own, one that most people struggle with. So I decided to interview a dietitian as well as a personal trainer to help shed some light on this issue and to provide some helpful tips on how to live a healthy lifestyle. But first, I wanted to know how they got started in their careers.
I was actually working at a medical clinic in the Bahamas, and I found diabetes was just so prevalent, and I was in the administrative area. I had already graduated from doing a degree in psychology, and I found I was very frustrated for them, and I was quite fascinated in food myself and just how it all works and affects your day-to-day, but diabetes really caught my attention as to the style of diet that population has and what it was doing and the effects of it. So I decided to come back to do a second degree.
Growing up, I played sports, I ran track and field, so I've always been active, and I started working at a desk job. I worked in finance, so it was 9 to 5, Monday to Friday, and I started developing back pains and problems because I was sitting so much and I wasn't as active as I was, and I would always find an excuse to be at the gym, and I always trained part-time as well. So I figured, as I was getting bored with my job and I kept finding excuses not to go into work, I knew it was time for change, and I decided to give personal training a shot.
Separately, I asked Cassandra Reed and Dennis Kissy why they think people hire people like them to be involved in their journey to health.
There are many reasons you can see a dietitian. You can come to see a dietitian because you have a health condition, pre-existing or existing. You might have just been diagnosed with a health condition. You might want to just lose weight. You might want to change your lifestyle and you need some direction and help in how to do that. You might have children that have issues, or your lifestyle is busy and you're a parent and you need to find out how to juggle all of that and with the meal planning. You might be going through pregnancy and need help with how to eat when you're pregnant. So there are many different health reasons and otherwise just personal interests that you'd come to see a dietitian.
A few reasons. Motivation is one. I think people need to hire trainers because they need to be motivated. A lot of people want to do things, but they just don't know how. So education plays a huge part too. They don't know how to do the exercises properly, so that's a big one. And just inspiration. A lot of people, they want to commit to things, but they don't really have the motivation or inspiration to do it. So I think all the education, motivation, and inspiration.
Originally, I hired a trainer just to make sure that I had proper technique and to make sure that I was doing things properly. Before I kind of added heavier weights to my sets and my reps, more reps, I wanted to make sure that I was doing everything properly so that I wasn't going to injure myself. Now I'm training for a fitness competition, so it's gotten a little bit more intense. Trainer really pushes me, gets me to the gym, gets me through my sessions. I don't think I'd be able to push myself as hard as a trainer pushes me, and is allowing me to get to the level that I want to be at to compete.
One of the most difficult things in keeping a healthy lifestyle is getting bored with the routine. So I asked both Cassandra Reed and Dennis Kissy how they keep things fresh and what type of things they do in order to keep a person's interest.
There's always something to talk about in nutrition, whether it's the media, whether it's something that happened during the day, whether it's a fad diet they heard about, whether it's they were really having a bad day and needed to break down where their weaknesses were. But what I'm really more getting at is that because it's individualized, it is fresh because they're coming because they want to be here. And the information will build on from general information to building to label reading to going through different macro and micronutrients. We have tons of recipes we can get into. There's always new suggestions, and I'm constantly building with handouts and recipes as well to be able to give them new information.
Well, I bring it back to their goals. I mean, I know that everybody is different and unique, so we bring their goals into play. For example, if someone wants to lose weight and they don't like doing a lot of weight training, we'll use stuff like medicine balls and incorporate resistance bands and different types of equipment and make it kind of a game so that, you know, I mean, they're generally in there for an hour, so we kind of make it fun for them. So when the hour's up, they're like, wow, it's done. You know, so I try to make it fun and interact with them quite a bit and let them know what we're doing and how it's working so they kind of can learn as well.
Everyday life is very busy, and there are lots of factors that make up a person's lifestyle. Friends, family, career, etc. So individually, I asked the dietitian and the personal trainer what percentage out of 100 they would dedicate either diet or exercise to a person's everyday healthy lifestyle.
I feel 100% because I feel that your day-to-day, whether you are eating well or not eating well, is going to affect how you feel. So I really feel 100% in a lot of ways, and it's the one thing that you control in your day-to-day is what you put in your mouth.
People should be exercising to some degree every day as well. Because if you don't, you start declining. The more exercise you get, the healthier you feel, the better you feel about life. So it should be 75, minimum 75%.
So all in all, I wanted to know what Cassie as a dietitian and Dennis as a personal trainer think an entire healthy lifestyle should consist of.
Diet and exercise are obviously a big part, but there's vitality and enjoying your day-to-day. And if you're not enjoying your day-to-day, you can't make nice meals, you can't enjoy them. It's a big part of it. So diet, as I said earlier, was 100% of your day-to-day, but if you're not physically in a happy place, it's hard to make the diet work. And the diet part is something that I do, and the exercise is something I highly recommend in every session that I do, that if you cannot do it even on your own, to find a professional to help you do that. And regardless if you can do it on your own, going to see a professional, a personal trainer, or going to fitness classes to make sure you're doing it properly. 3 things that are most important. Sleep. Gotta try to, I know everyone tries to say, everyone says I get 6 hours or 7 hours. Should aim for 8 to 10 hours, even though it seems impossible nowadays. Aim for 8 to 10 hours, very important. Diet has to be consistent. You don't have to go on a Hollywood diet or anything, but it's gotta be consistent. You gotta have your fruits, vegetables, lots of water, and carbs, protein, fat, that's fine, but as long as you're eating those fruits and vegetables and grains, you're fine. And exercise, at least half an hour every day. Walking, running, on a treadmill, anything. Especially now the weather's warmer, it's always a good idea to walk. If you have those 3 things, then that's leading a healthy lifestyle.
To lead an entirely healthy lifestyle involves only a few things, but those few things prove to be quite a challenge in a society that thrives off ease and fast pace. So what it really comes down to is a person's will to want to be healthy.
Okay, now we all want to have a job we love waking up for, especially in early mornings. But getting a job is a lot harder than when your industry isn't as good as it used to be.
Tristan Clark takes us on with Greg Fair and Daniel McKendrick's journey to making their passion for music a job in the city without fans.
Ever since I was little, I've known one thing. I love film, but I don't know how I'm going to turn this passion into a career, let alone set myself out for my friends. Well, I was wondering, do any of my peers think the same thing? Well, I decided to sit down with them and find out. First up, Greg Fair and Daniel McKendrick of Hard Shell Invaders.
Let's do this. Let's look at how we are. What if we become willing children lost back to hands from the sun, locked away in 100 basements, never listen on a fair with no path to travel, thinking how we travel overhead. I like the vision to see clearly through this euphoric haze, wandering through towards city blues, tripping through the day.
Music scene in Toronto, it seems like there's a lot of bands. There's a shitload of bands and a lot of good ones. There's just a lot of them, and the demand isn't as high as there is the bands.
Yeah, there's more bands than there's fans in the kind of world.
Yeah.
Toronto's music scene is dying. As Daniel says, the fans of the city just aren't coming out to shows. This trend is most visible in the closing of beloved hardcore music venue, The Reverb, which lack of interest caused the owners to shut their doors for the final time late last February. But what do Daniel, Greg, and the rest of the Hardshell invaders think?
Basically, it's just, it's kind of getting harder and harder to get a reaction out of people, so you need to do something different.
You hear a metal band, they have like 2 guitarists, maybe a bassist, drummers, and a vocalist. They're all pumping it like crazy. And they have the crazy guitarist, and it sounds amazing, but it's just metal. It's been done. The next show has a lot of different artists really mixing genres. There's going to be a room with jungle, D&B, and trance, and all types of ravey music. And then there's going to be another room with metal music. The funny thing about that is a lot of metal music nowadays mix rave music and trance with their metal. But I think it's just that the younger generations in Toronto aren't as unified. We're very multicultural and multi-subcultural, if you want to call it that, because we're crossing cultures. Because our subcultures are just way too small to generate anything exciting.
And what does Daniel and Greg call this style of music making?
Genre bending?
Yeah, I just invented it.
Genre bending. It sounds like a novel idea. Take 2 established types of music and combine them into a brand new sound. Hardshell invaders have not only created a new music genre, they have also gotten the fan base that they needed for their art form. I may have not known how to turn a passion into a career before, but thanks to Dan and Greg, I know simple solutions are often the best answer. I'm Tristan Clark. Back to you in the studio.
That was inspiring for all our students out there. So the polls are officially closed, the votes are in, and someone has been elected. Let's head back over to Michelle and to hear who you have to see who the best performances of the semester.
Well, it was close. Michelle, do you want to take it away?
Sure. So Cricket Man came back with in a huge way, and he has taken the best performance of the shows.
What's good?
What's
Cricket
good?
Man. All right, so maybe I should read some tweets before we get to that clip.
Yep.
So I've got one in here from Kid Spector saying, "Love the dancing, guys. Keep it up. You're almost there." Then Couple What says, "Love that longboarding thing. Looks really fun." And was it just me, or was Brennan wearing a neon tiger shirt in that clip? Anyways, I think we're ready to check out the clip. What's good?
What's good?
What's up, Cricket?
What's good?
Chilling, know me.
We about to set the studio on fire with this song.
Shout out to Toronto. Let's go.
Let's go.
Let's
T
go.
dot.
What's good?
What's good? What's good? What's good? From my block to your block, from my hood to your hood. What's good? What's good? What's good? What's good? What's good? What's good? From my block to your block, from my hood to your hood. Hey. Let me break it down for them.
They call him Cricket Man.
T-down, homie. Yeah. I swear this is all I know. I'm about to go star mode. Super Mario. These catties is on me, yo. These catties is on me, yo. My Jane and Finch fam will really have you dropping low. In Gaga, they rock Louis. Out in Saga, they rock Gucci. And Rexter, they have the same guns as Call of Duty. Walk around Flemo, and I bet you they ask who he. And then have your body breaking up just like the Fugees. My boys from Driftwood. Now there's your worst nightmare. Too much ice, and you better hope they just there. Big up the park there. Ain't nobody play fair. Yeah, they call it Regent Park, but ain't nobody play there. Glendower, Melvin, Lakeshore, Section 6. Rep your hood no matter where it is. I'm in Malton smoking on cannabis. Smoke with me, can you handle it? I bet you say, yes you can. Been hood all my life, so I'm feeling like a jungle man. Hustle homie like you from Bleak or Palmer. Yeah, I look good. I put that on my mama. Whatever hood you from? Everybody feeling me, everybody riding. TTC, what's good? What's good? What's good? What's good? From my block to your block, from my hood to your hood. What's good? 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 Mississauga. What's good? Malton. What's good? Malton. What's good? Yeah, they call me Cricket Man. They call me Cricket Man. They call me Cricket Man. Yeah. T-Dot, what's good? Centennial, what's good? T-Dot, what's good?
What's good? What's good? Congratulations to Cricket Man. He deserved it. Well, we certainly had a lot of great musicians this season, but let's take a break and change gears to something different. Our very own Marianne Mass went to Black Creek Pioneer Village. Do you ever wonder what life was like for our ancestors or what we take for granted today? Well, Marianne found out the answers. Let's take a look.
Today we invite you to travel back in time and above all, have fun. Black Creek Pioneer Village opened in 1960 as a tribute to the Toronto area's pioneering roots. The museum, built around the original Stong Farm on the banks of Black Creek, grew to include other historic buildings, which were moved here from surrounding communities. Every year, thousands of people from the area and around the globe visit to experience something of Canada's past in the homes, workshops, and various public buildings that together present this part of the world as it looked in the 1860s.
My name is Nelia and I'm a visitor from Kazakhstan. When I was still back in my home country, I have heard about the Black Creek Pioneer Village that's located in Toronto. So this time I decided to check it out. It was nice because it gave me a sense of Canada's pioneer history. It has the collection of period-accurate shops, buildings, and little houses. Most of the buildings have actors inside of them who have the costumes of the period of the time and tell you interesting stories.
1860s, no electricity, but that's okay.
By the mid-19th century, tin plate was cheap and plentiful, and a skilled tinsmith could produce a variety of useful and inexpensive housewares.
When the tin hits the back of whoa! Oh, and you can take it through a few more times so you can actually get it to clean all the way out.
The first time I came, it was about 25 or 22 years ago with my sons. Two sons, they were so excited, especially things are so many difference as now, especially kitchens and how they're making rice and wheat and so on. And one good thing, they were so happy to have a horse wagon thing. They were going to ride. So now I'm with my grandchildren. So they have the same excitement as my son had before.
There are many different programs to help visitors understand the past and appreciate the links between history and modern life. Maple syrup. It's a Canadian thing. Gather around the fire and learn how pioneers made maple syrup and treat yourself to pancake breakfast.
So, as I was saying, all trees produce sap, but only one tree produces the sweetest sap, and that's the sugar maple tree. The sugar maple trees can be found in Ontario, Quebec, and in some parts of the northern United States.
So that's my medicine mixed with flour.
This elegant house served as the home and office of the village doctor and brought a sense of security and preeminence to a small community like Black Creek. His household shows the comfortable lifestyle of a country doctor, while his office reflects the state-of-the-art medical practices of the 1860s.
Okay, so one of the things I do as a town doctor is I make all the drugs up. And if I decide you need to get pills to make you feel better, that's how I do it. I can't because I don't have flour, water, or acacia gum. I only have whatever the plant is. And it's pretty messy.
Equipped with twin forges, carpenter shop, a trim shop, paint and varnish rooms, the carriage works housed a thriving business where wagon, carriages, and sleighs were built. The east wing of the carriage works was rented out by a cabinet maker who made furniture. This is a typical one-room rural school of the period. The design and seating arrangement followed the recommendation of Egerton Ryerson, founder of Ontario's public school system.
Those were cooked in an oven that was heated by fire, and then the heat of the bricks is what bakes your cookies.
Here, we can learn more about baking. And thank you so much for the free cookies. The event pavilion served as a focal point for festivals and stage performances throughout the operating season.
Habitat, habitat, have to have a habitat. Well, the cricket's a habitat. It's a very special habitat.
It's really good to take kids here to give them a lesson.
I absolutely loved it. It's a great place to visit for anybody.
Yeah, I really enjoy.
Habitat that we depend on. Here we go now. Habitat, have to have a habitat. Have to have a habitat to carry on.
Bye, Pioneer Village. We will come back in the summer. Welcome back, everyone. We're here with Jeff the World, who plays chip tunes. So, Jeff, for all our viewers out there, could you explain to us what chip tunes are?
Well, chip music is music that's synthesized in real time on computer or video game sound chips. In this case, Game Boys.
Cool. Like with Game Boys, first thing that comes to mind is, playing video games. When did you decide to actually play music out of these tools?
Well, I've been listening to the genre for most of my life, and related genres for most of my life, and most people actually have, because people played these old video games when they were kids, and they've heard this music. So at one point or another, I decided that, I'd give it a shot and make it myself.
It's interesting.
So where can our viewers find your music?
Well, actually, I just had an album released just yesterday, and you can grab the MP3 downloads for free off my website at jefftheworld.com.
Cool.
That's interesting. You can introduce me.
So, guys, let's hear what Jeff has to offer. Take it away, Jeff.
That was amazing, Jack.
Really, really amazing.
That was cool. Like, I've never heard anything like it. Well, I've heard it, but it's in a video game. But that was like, you're like the coolest video gamer I've ever met, man. Thanks for coming
Thank you
on.
so
Thanks for
much.
playing on their show.
Thank you. So, Abdullah Malek headed over to the Toronto Zoo and took some time to learn about all the different kinds of animals.
The Toronto Zoo is a great place to go with family, friends. You can go on nice walks, have a picnic, and have a nice time with animals from all around the world. Starting on May 22nd, we'll be featuring sharks at Stingray Bay, which allows visitors to get up close and personal with sharks. It only costs $3 for this exhibit, and it's free for children. It's another great reason to head out to the Toronto Zoo.
Toronto Zoo is a great place to see and learn about animals. Located in Scarborough, it is the third largest zoo in the world. The zoo is divided geographically, and each section displays animals from a different part of the planet. The zoo's newest exhibit is the Tundra Trek, home to one of the zoo's most popular attractions, the polar bear. Like the polar bear, most animals in the Arctic are white. This is for camouflage in the snow. It helps prey to hide from predators and predators to sneak up on prey. Food is often scarce in this region, so Arctic wolves roam over large areas, hunting for it. The zoo's aquarium contains a wide variety of fish and other aquatic life. Jellyfish are some of the most beautiful creatures in the sea, and also some of the most deadly. They have a toxic stinger in their tail. The new Great Barrier Reef exhibit can be found in the Australian Pavilion. The Americas Pavilion houses many reptiles such as lizards, snakes, turtles, and alligators. These are some of the oldest animals on the planet. Many lived during the time of dinosaurs. Reptiles are cold-blooded, which means their blood temperature changes with the environment. Like birds, they lay eggs. The largest exhibit in the zoo is the African exhibit. That continent is home to some of the most diverse and interesting animals on the planet. The cheetah is the fastest land animal. It can reach speeds of 75 miles per hour, but only in short bursts. It is a sprinter, not a long-distance runner. Prey, mostly antelope, is stalked, then chased down. The cheetah's body is specialized for speed. It has long, muscular legs. It is slender like a greyhound dog. The cheetah is the smallest of the big cats and is often forced to surrender a kill to lions or leopards. The elephant is the largest land animal. Its most distinguished feature is its trunk. They use it to collect food such as grass and leaves. They can also suck water up into their trunk to spray into their mouth or to spray onto their body during bathing. Elephants are highly intelligent and emotionally complex. They have excellent memories and have been observed mourning the dead. They typically live for 50 to 70 years. Some of the most entertaining animals at the zoo are the monkeys. Unlike most monkeys which live in trees in the jungle, baboons are ground-dwelling and live in the savanna. Baboons usually live in troops of 30 to 60 animals. They are fierce fighters. Very few predators will try to penetrate a troop's defense. Our closest relatives in the animal kingdom are the apes. Gorillas are the largest ape. Unlike chimpanzees, gorillas are strictly herbivores. Their diet is mostly plant stems, vines, and leaves. The baby gorilla is completely dependent on its mother for food and protection, and stays with her for the first 3 years of its life. Young gorillas are incredibly playful. Gorillas are found in the rainforest in the Congo River basin of Western Africa. Their habitat is threatened due to human activity, such as mining, agriculture expansion, and civil war. They are critically endangered. Zoos are playing an increasingly large role in conservation. We spoke to the zookeeper about the changing role of the zoo.
I think the zoo's role's changed quite a bit over the last 15, 20 years, where we've become a place of conservation, of collecting, exotic species in order to be able to see what we can do to reproduce them and, have that species, propagate in the wild, after some time. There are probably, dozens of species that zoos hold that are now extinct in the wild. So we can look back and say, well, it's probably a good thing that we did have them at one time. And now the question is now, what do we do with them now that, we're the only ones that have, their future in our hands. So I think the zoo's role is going to change over the next decade or two, becoming more involved in reproduction and artificial insemination and becoming more management in, species that need more habitat and becoming involved in gaining that.
Later.
Did you know that men are 3 times more likely to depend on alcohol throughout their lives than women are? In Canada, the highest level of alcoholism occurs in people 20 to 24. Mona Abbassi speaks to Farhad Radan, a former alcoholic. He explains to us his struggles with depression and how this change in his lifestyle has made him a better man.
Farhad Radan. I'm 23 years old. I've been in Canada for 10 years. I had a very serious drinking issue back then. I've been sober for 5 months. Drinking has been a big issue in my life. It directed me to a direction which it wasn't the right direction for me, and everything downwards from there. But thank God I got back on my feet, and I changed everything around. I quit drinking, I quit smoking. I've been sober for 5 months. 4 years ago I went to Dubai to see my girlfriend. Once I arrived there, we rented a car, and it was a brand new car too. Exactly 3 days after I arrived, we rented a car, we went out, I dropped her off to go to university. She's a student there. So when I dropped her off, I had a couple of drinks, and I was just driving around waiting for her to pick her up. And then when she called me to go get her, I was pretty drunk, and then I went into the highway, and then I got in a big accident. When I used to drink, I was always depressed. I didn't know what I was doing. I was spending money over my limit, maxed out the credit cards, eventually lost my job, played poker online, I did gambling, drinking. I was just feeling so sick from inside. I was always depressed. And alcohol was something to escape from that. So that's why I drank so much, and every time I drank, I would be careless, not thinking about my problems, and this just became a habit. And over time, the reason why I stopped drinking, it was because I hit the rock bottom one day. So that's how it goes. I was sitting down, I was drinking, and then I got too drunk to even notice what I'm doing, like where I am, even though I was at my house. These days that I'm sober and I study and I work, I really enjoy it. I feel like I'm a true man. I've been mature, and I'm gonna stick to it this way. I'm not gonna go back to drinking, not even a sip. I just had too much bad memories from it, and I don't wanna refresh those memories.
Farhad Radan sure has been on a journey. However, there are other journeys going on right now. Stephanie Guzman is an indie musician on a mission. Straight from Ottawa, she brings a unique talent and passion for the ukulele. She currently developing a band named Eastboro and has an album coming out this summer. Richard Pimentel has the story.
Eastborough. That's the band name. I started in Ottawa. I play guitar and ukulele, and I sing. The ukulele in Ottawa right now is a really big deal, and a certain line came in, and I fell in love with it. I don't know what it is. It's fun. It's quirky. It kind of fits my personality that way. A little nerdy, and Eastborough kind of is a solo project, and but it's kind of had a revolving door of musicians, and since then it's been really hard to lock down a steady set of musicians, and I'd like to have a backing band behind me, but I don't necessarily want that, you know, the four-piece band. I have played in Toronto while I was living in Ottawa. I played here, and I did, you know, North by Northeast and Indie Week, and they're pretty large festivals in terms of the Toronto scene. And I had an amazing time, amazing experience, and a great response to my music. And that was, it's definitely a reason why I came here. Ottawa doesn't have the scene that Toronto has. That's for sure. I moved here at the end of August or mid-August. You bring down the acoustic. I did receive a City of Ottawa grant for recording part of my album, my first full-length CD. It's a pretty big deal for me because I've released about 4 EPs, I think, at this point, all, you know, within 4 to 8 songs, and making a full length is actually a huge step. For me, being independent these last 3 years has meant a lot of work. It's an insane amount of work, and it takes a lot of passion to continue doing it, because I've played music for longer than that, and you know, I'm kind of at the point where I can see why people want help. They want people pushing with them, because as a solo artist, it gets quite difficult. Is a producer I met through a chance Craigslist meeting, and just recorded the Good Lovely CD. They were nominated for Juno, and they won the Juno. I can't imagine what my music would be like without Adam at this point, because I recorded in Ottawa. I started my full-length album in Ottawa, and meeting Adam has kind of changed the album entirely. He's an amazing musician. He plays probably every instrument that I can think of or name, and he just has a natural ability to bring out the best in my songwriting. So he's a key person right now in my musical life. And Joe is a performer who plays bass and with me right now, and he's great. He's supportive. He's a band leader of his own band as well, and he's very supportive and enthusiastic.
All the sinners looking to me, working early for the next week. We're the last ones in the setting sun, and we're the last ones in the setting sun.
We should, I'm hoping by the summer. I did intend for it to be a spring release, but I think it's going to have to be a summer release. So hopefully June, July this year. And yeah, I'm just going to try and push that in everyone's faces and throw it everywhere I can, and just continue performing and you know, applying to festivals and see what happens from there.
students, the thought of a summer job is their top priority. I visited 2 students from different colleges who carry advice about how to not just get any summer job, but advancing towards your career.
My name's Marianne Mendoza. I'm a student at George Brown College, but I also work part-time, soon to be full-time, at Palette Alliance. I am a casual designer. I've been working there since February. The director of the company, his name's Toussaint Brown. He hands me client information and whatever their client needs are, and then I work on it. He usually gives me about a month to work on projects. So far, I've only had 1 poster assignment. Praise Fit Kids is the place I did the stuff for, like the poster for. Well, originally they're called Praise Fit. It's like a woman, she owns her own company, and she's starting camps so that children can get fit really young too and have fun, and it's like little camps. But yeah, I made a poster that she can reuse in the summer and the springtime. And she'll be posting it up in elementary schools across Toronto.
Starting a career off on the right foot is always difficult, especially for an art student. Although the paper you receive at graduation does not always equal a job, college or university is not a bad step. Oftentimes though, it will take seizing of opportunities to really guide a person to their career goals. Tim Ferrer is a student from a different college, yet attained the same position as Maria.
Actually, I heard of Palette Alliance through Maria. She told me about how she gained a position at a design firm. And being a graphic design student and being informed about this, I thought like, hey, might as well ask, see if there's an opportunity for me as a designer. So I asked her if she could inquire about a position for me as a casual designer. And eventually I got to contact with Toussaint Brown and Dwayne Hall, the 2 owners of the company. And we exchanged emails, sent them my portfolio, and eventually I landed the job.
I think the advice that I would give to people who are aspiring graphic designers would be time management. It is extremely key in this industry. Like everything, there are so many deadlines to be met, and if you're really, really trying, you can do it the night before, but it's not going to turn out as well as a person who's developed their ideas over a certain allotted time, like a month or something. The ideal approach is to go through the entire process, like brainstorming and sketching out all your ideas and really seeing it on paper first before you start on the computer. Because some people jump right into it, and it really limits your creativity because you're seeing it already, like it's so clean, like it's almost finalized, even though you haven't really completely finalized the idea. When you're working on it on paper and drawing it out first, you get to really work with that and like, oh hey, this could work better down here, and like, oh, I could like add this or something to it. And yeah, I'm like really working in that time because all ideas can be developed.
You can't advance your career with technical skills alone, and Maria learned this through college. A positive attitude combined with pursuing opportunities can really help you shine.
You guys made it, okay? We all know it had to come to this sooner or later. It's time for that dreaded goodbye.
Don't worry, Nigel. There's always next semester with new faces, ideas, and stories.
Hope all of you guys at home enjoyed the last 2 months because we all had a great time here at the Journal.
Remember, if you had a favorite show or moment, you can always look back and watch it on YouTube. Just search for Centennial College, The Journal. You can also see complete episodes right here on ondemand.centennialcollege.ca.
Be sure to join us in the fall for the next Journal series.
Bye, guys.
Take care.
See ya next time, next semester.
Till next time.
What's your deal?
Let's go to the back. Come on, guys.